Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on the Roblox YouTube channel. Today we're back on the scary horror game build, and I am excited because we are going to build the first map for the first mini game, the first door, I don't really know what to call it, okay? But we're going to build the first map, and I am excited. So, the first map is going to be a tunnel, which, yeah, that should be pretty cool. And my girlfriend has had pretty much all the ideas for this game. In fact, creating the game in the first part was her idea. So yes, she is picking what the maps are, what the maps look like, how the gameplay goes, and I'm just bringing it to life. I know pretty much nothing about horror games, and yeah, that might be clear looking at my progress so far, but I'm trying. Another thing I wanted to address, every time I make a horror game video, the top comment is change the lighting to future lighting. It is like this, it has been on future lighting the whole time. Check it out right here, lighting future. I personally, when I switch it to shadow map, think it's a little better because the second most liked comment every time I do one of these videos is this is the lobby and it shouldn't be as dark. This shadow map lighting makes the shadows a little softer so we don't have a harsh like spotlight on the ground, but it also brightens up the whole build while still keeping shadow. So I think I'm gonna keep it on shadow map, at least for now. If you guys think that future looked better, let me know in the comments below. Anyways, first map, the tunnel. All right, guys, so my girl has described the tunnel as, of course, a tunnel and then 5 rooms within this tunnel. So let's just do a tunnel like this. It will be a straight map. The front and the back will be locked off, and then there's gonna be 5 rooms. So I'm thinking maybe 1 right there, 2, we'll just kind of do this. 3, 4, and 5. So not 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, just 1, 2, 1, 1. I think that's sort of nice. I don't want it to be too symmetrical. It might take away from some of the scare factor. Anyways, now that we have this, we need the actual tunnel itself. All right, so my idea to start the tunnel, let's get rid of the light and the camera, and then let's grab this cube. If we hop into edit mode, we can bevel the top 2 edges just like this with Control B. And I think you just press C. Yeah, C is clamp. And we can have it just like this. Now, I do want to add 1 loop cut on the sides and drag that up just a little bit. You guys will see why this is important in just a moment. Maybe something like this. Now we can delete this face, and this face. They're simply not needed, and we have a tunnel. Now we're going to do Shift D to duplicate this tunnel, drag it to the side, and then we're going to delete these faces. This one right here, and I guess we could just spin it around in Roblox. We don't really need to delete the other side. Now that we have this, though, how I want to set this up is like this, and we can do the doors. I'm not gonna make it perfect in here, but it would be something like this, a modular tunnel system. And now as we're walking through, you can see there's a door here, and of course we could rotate that and make doors on the other side. So the next thing we need to do is add a subdivision surface modifier to these guys. Not subdivision, solidify, my bad. And I think I want to set this to 1. No, I don't. That's a bit intense. 0.15 looks good to me, and let's put that on this as well. Solidify and 0.15. Perfect. Now that we have this tunnel part done, we are going to maybe shade auto smooth. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think that's good. Now we just need to import these into Roblox. All right, we've got our 2 tunnel pieces in Roblox, and I think I'm gonna put the lighting into a folder just so we can actually see what we're working on. There we go. Guess that kind of helps, but kind of doesn't. It's a little easier. Now, the reason I didn't round the ends is so we could stretch this as far as we wanted with no like stretch pieces. If we had any bevels or anything like that on the 2 ends, it would kind of like disform them. So as you stretch it, the bevels would go from like this to like this, and it would keep turning or stretching, of course. And yeah, that wouldn't be the best look. Anyways, let's grab a player, aka myself, and let's start making this tunnel. One piece of feedback that I've been getting on the lobby portion is the ceilings are a bit too high. We might knock those down by like 25% and see how that looks. So instead of way up here, it would be around here, which seems a bit better if I'm gonna be honest. We may do that. So taking that into consideration, the tunnels probably don't need to be as tall either. I'm gonna grab both of them and just scale them down to about here, which is about the same height that I want to scale the walls down to. Anyways, now that we have these tunnels, we can kind of start snapping them together. First things first is the starter piece. This will be room number 1, which I need to make sure is like very nicely matched up. Looks perfect. You can't even see the seam. And then, of course, let's check this out. So the door might be a little too low at this point, which means I need to make these a bit bigger. I could stretch them straight up, but that would give a little bit of a unproportional look. So we're just going to bring all of them a little bigger, which probably is going to make them feel very tall roofed again. I think that is a lot better. And now we need to scale this in so it's an actual door size. Maybe something like this. And then we just grab this, move it to the other side. And just like that, we have a door in our tunnel. I'm going to go ahead, position all the 5 doors, and then meet up with you guys. All right, guys. So the tunnel itself is done. It's a very easy thing. Let me spawn in to show you guys sort of how long it is. I think it's long enough, but not like crazy long. So right here, I do need to make this sort of fade in so it'll look like just eternal darkness and scariness. Right now, it just looks like a Lego wall. So yeah, we're gonna have to fix that. But anyways, right here is the tunnel, and we have door number 1, door number 2 right here, door number 3 right there. Number 4 is on this side, and I believe number 5 is on that side as well. As you can see, it's not too long, and it doesn't take an insanely long time to go through it. But once we start adding the atmosphere and the ambience with sound effects, fog, flickering lights, etc., things that'll make it more scary, it will be a little harder to walk through it unless you're just unfazed by every rock solid. Up next on the tunnel, we do have our faded doorway things now, which look pretty good and help make it seem like it's a little longer than it actually is. Up next, we need to add on some textures. Now, Roblox is probably going to treat this a little strange, and I don't really know how to show that except for tell you guys, if we look, can we see the lines on any of these? Okay, so if we look at the lines on this, on one side, Roblox will make the texture go up like 2 of these lines and think that's the middle or the side, and on the other side, it will stop where the lines start, so it won't really look proportional. How we're gonna fix that is use a texture that looks fine tiled. So we're gonna go over probably to this one, copy all of them, and let's paste all of them on. Now, the problem we're gonna get with this cleaner texture is it's not gonna look scary and old and gross. It's just gonna look pretty normal and like just decent, right? But what we're gonna do to fix that is grab some of the stains from this building, something like this or like this. I think this one's a little bit better. Now, this is a decal, so we are gonna just copy that ID, and then we're gonna paste that into a texture part. And by texture part, I just mean part that we're gonna slap a texture on. So let's move this up, scale it out a little bit, and let's add a texture. Now, the texture ID, we're gonna paste in the other ID, and now we have something that looks like this. And you guys might be thinking exactly what I am. Bro, what is that? Guys, all you gotta do is play around with the sizes. We're gonna try a 17. That's something. That's not bad, actually. And then let's try maybe 10. Something like that is not too bad. Now, if we make this part transparent, and I always turn my transparent parts hot pink for no reason at all, really. I just do it. And then we're gonna scale this all the way back. Now, we do have a bit of tiling, which we're gonna fix by adding more of these textures, using different images, of course, into random spots, which will help a lot with this tiling effect. But the main reason we need to do this is to make sure we still have that like gross like environment. The goal is honestly to make it pretty unpleasant to be in here. So we're gonna keep scaling this across. We do need to restart it every time we pass a door, and that's just gonna make it look real nice and make it so you can still walk through doors, because you know that's kind of a big part. You need to be able to go into the rooms. All right, one side done. Now let's throw this on the other side and do the same thing, just skipping the doors. Perfect. Now when we walk down the tunnel, it looks a little bit more abandoned. And if we put our lighting back into the lighting space, check this out. A lot darker and more creepy vibe feeling. But for now, let's keep that lighting in the folder. The next thing that we need to do is figure out how we want to connect the room. If I do this, which obviously looks the best, we run into an issue like this. If we want it to be clean connected, once we go inside, it's like this. And if we want it to be not like that, it's no longer cleanly connected. So I think what we're gonna do is hop back into Blender and try to figure something out. And by something out, I'm thinking if I grab this, duplicate it, and rotate it, we can make something work. Now, how? That is the question. I think I'm gonna grab all of these sides and just bring them out, extrude them. There we go. And then the bottom as well, extrude, and we'll extrude back this. So the goal with this would be to add a Boolean modifier, which I always forget how to use. I think we just click this object. Yeah, see that wasn't it. All right, guys, so I think I may have just learned something new. This Boolean modifier, as you can see, the further we go back, it starts to disappear. And it looks like that is because the geometry, aka these faces, once they disappear or get cut, the new mesh doesn't know where to end, I would guess. Something like that. Anyways, we're gonna get this as far as possible. I'd say to right here. And then we can just hide this. And there we go. We now have a new tunnel piece. I'm gonna apply this and see how close we get. Honestly, that's not that bad. From the inside, you probably won't even be able to see this little gap. So I guess we'll export this. All right, guys. So we now have our attachment piece, and I'll show you guys how this is gonna work. So if we just line this up with the door, go on the inside and make it so we can't see any of this. Perfect. Now we can go through this door. We can't see any gaps other than, of course, you know, where the tunnel starts to round back up. But I think that's gonna be the best way to do this. So I'm gonna toss one of these on each doorway, and then we should be good to move on. All right, guys, now I'm just adding on the rooms. We added a texture to the floor. And now when you walk through the tunnel, you can go outside of these rooms, I guess, or outside of the main tunnel into the rooms. Now I'm just adding in the rooms themselves. I do think we need some sort of roof in these. I'm trying to keep them very small to make it more like claustrophobic feeling. Now I do think the roof texture should be something else. I kind of like the wood texture, but I don't really think that makes sense in a tunnel. So let's try this one and see what we think. Yeah, definitely a lot better. It matches the outside tunnel as well, and I just think that that works. Let's check it out. Boom, walk in. Maybe this should actually stretch. Whoops, wrong way. Maybe this should stretch back to here, right here, and then when you go into the room, it instantly does get quite a bit smaller. And then this texture, we need to take the bottom one off, which is this one, and we're gonna paste this bottom one on. So now the roofs match, but we still have this ugly, like, grungy side. I think that looks pretty good. Also, now that I did it like this, the thing that we made, this half-sphere cut-off boolean thing, actually isn't even needed. It's genuinely just not needed. So I'm gonna try to change these textures to match this, like the wall. Almost. Let's move this down to 10, and there we go. So now that we have this part done and the walls, I think we can copy and paste all of this onto each section, and then we'll see how it looks walking through with all of the lighting. I think I'm gonna put lights in the tunnel as well. Definitely some flickering. All right, guys, here is the map. We have a bit more to do when I have more ideas. None of the rooms are designed yet, but we can enter them. So check it out. This is very close quarters, exactly how we wanted it. And it's very dark. We've got our flickering lights with those sound effects, as well as some ambient noise. I guess I could go ahead and show you guys that noise real quick. Now, none of the rooms have been designed just yet, but we're gonna get a plan for every room together, and that'll be another video to finish off this map, this room, this, I still don't exactly know what to call them, but that will finish it up in the next video. If you have any more ideas for this tunnel, let me know in the comments below, and the most liked comment will be added into the game. But guys, had a lot of fun with this little build. Definitely a little more ways to go once we have all the rooms settled out and the gameplay of this map done, but I think it turned out pretty good. Seems grungy. You know what might be awesome? Some water, like a reflective floor, maybe some drips, some ambient water drip noises as well. Let me know in the comments below, but I do think that's gonna wrap it up for today. If you did enjoy and you want to see more content like this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day. Later.